Oof.
You sure you want to do this?
Oh, hey, Comer Alexa. Yeah, I'm sure I want to do this today. I mean, a figure evolution of Trish Stratus for Women's History Month? She played such a big role on getting the women to where they're at today in the world of wrestling.
But that means you once again have to review the dreaded
Elite 88? Yeah, I know. You don't need to say it. But, I might have been unfair with my judgment of these figures because honestly, my face scans weren't printed on that well. So, I actually did a thing.
Oh no, you spent money on another one. Why, Mayor Aaron? Why?
Well, to be honest with you, I realized that my face scans, they weren't printed on very good on my two Elite 88 Trish Stratuses. And looking at this one here, I mean, this face scan's printed on perfectly. Whether it affects the score, I don't know, but during the evolution video, whenever we get to the regular version of Elite 88 Trish, I'm going to review it like it's a brand new figure, so we'll see if it affects the score.
What about the chase?
Yeah, I know. Unfortunately, I haven't been able to find a chase yet that has that scan printed on cleanly. But to be honest with you, we should probably keep it down a little bit because if the girls find out that we're going over that Elite 88 Trish figure again, they'll probably flip.
Too late.
Oh my god! Girl, did you apply your makeup in a funhouse mirror at a carnival? Ugh! Mayor Aaron, I honestly don't know what all the fuss is about this figure. I actually think it's a good depiction.
Wait, what?
Yeah, this is totes the best Pennywise figure I've seen in a long time. Mattel made this? Wow. This thing's so lifelike, I'm creeped out. Ooh, I might have just peed a little.
Pennywise? No, Diva Marie. That is Trish. You know what? Never mind. Yeah, that's a Pennywise figure.
Huh, look at that. That's really weird. Did you know Pennywise in Spanish is Trish Stratus?
Okay, that's it. Either we teach her more on the history of women's wrestling, or I'm going to destroy her.
Hey y'all, welcome to LumberJillville. Women's wrestling lives here. And welcome to today's very special video where we continue to celebrate Women's History Month in LumberJillville by doing a Mattel figure evolution of Trish Stratus figures. Now I know she had tons of Jax figures released, but I really wanted to focus on the Mattel ones because there's some really good figures that I haven't gotten to feature on the channel yet. So what better time than now to cover such an iconic woman that really progressed women in the world of wrestling. Now, also throughout this video, I'm going to be doing what I did in the Sensational Sherry video, where I post some fun facts and fun trivia out there through the course of the video, so maybe you'll learn something you didn't know before about Trish, and that's kind of my goal. So, with that being said, let's start off with her first-in-the-line Mattel figure. Trish's first-in-the-line Mattel figure with Elite Series 24 released in 2013. This attire is from Survivor Series 2005 that took place on November 27th in Detroit, Michigan. On this night, Trish defeated Melina to retain the WWE Women's Championship. Alright, so taking a closer look at Trish Stratus' very first Mattel figure released, and I think they knocked it out of the park with this one. I did do a full in-depth review over a year ago on my 1,000 subscriber episode in LumberJillville, so check that out if you want a real up-close look, but we are going to take a brief look at this figure, and all of her figures released by Mattel. So right off the bat, the first thing you'll notice is this women's championship is such a good quality. We got that vac metallized gold and then really nice detail with that title. Now I say really nice detail because if you look at the women's championship that came with that WrestleMania China Elite, that looks cheap, and here we get that nice metallic finish. And we do get this a few other times, so if you don't have this figure, can't track it down, there are other ways to get this title, but this really looks great. Now, with this figure, it is important to note that this was way before the TrueFX face scan technology, which I'm a fan of when it's printed on right, but this is an example of just how great of a job they can do without that TrueFX face scan technology. They do an excellent job with the face construction, the sculpting, the painting, the likeness, the makeup, everything about it is pretty excellent. And I really like this hair sculpt. It's very symbolic to the time era that she wore it like that. Her attire is also really cool, and overall her body mold is just like Trish. It's built just like Trish, which is very awesome, very unique to her. And yeah, this figure definitely has a lot of detail going on. And this might be the top Trish figure, honestly, because this really does represent such an iconic time in her career, and it looks fantastic. WWE Hall of Fame Elite Series released in 2015. This attire is from WrestleMania 27, which took place on April 3rd, 2011 in Atlanta, Georgia. On this night, the team of Trish Stratus, John Morrison, and Snooki would defeat the team of Lay Cool and Dolph Ziggler. Alright, so taking a closer look at this Hall of Fame Elite Trish Stratus. This might be my favorite Trish Stratus. Is it the best or most iconic depiction? No, probably not, and that's why it probably won't be number one for me later. However, I love that we got a brunette Trish Stratus in Elite form, and it looks so awesome like this one. And I think it really does accurately depict exactly how she looked on that WrestleMania night. Now, I know that WrestleMania was a very strange match. It was about 3.5 minutes long. Snooki was involved. There's a weird ending with John Morrison and her, and it was a little bizarre, but either way, I think they knocked it out of the park with getting her look down from that match. Now, taking a closer look, we do get that Women's Championship title in great detail once again. Excellent, excellent. And then looking at the figure itself, we do have that scan we just saw, but it's a little updated with some updated makeup application there. And the hair sculpt is the same, but this time obviously it's brown to represent the brunette Trish that we got. And the attire really does stand out from a distance. There's not a whole lot of sculpting or molding taking place here, but it works really well, and they did a great job with the paint application. Looking close at the top, you'll see that it is that generic bra mold underneath with the black painted on top, and that usually drives me nuts, but here it's really not that noticeable, probably because it's more of a matte black that kind of goes over it without noticing unless you're looking up close. And the little intricate silver stud details going all over her attire is really cool, even on down to the back of her bottoms where it looks like pockets. And then she has these fingerless black gloves painted on, these little armbands on her forearms. And yeah, to me, this Trish, it just really does stand out amongst all the other Trishes, in my opinion, and I think it's a lot of fun. WWE WrestleMania 35 Basic released in 2018. This attire is from WrestleMania 18, which took place on March 17th, 2002 in Toronto, Ontario, Canada. On this night, Jazz would defeat Trish Stratus and Lita to retain the WWF Women's Championship. Alright, so this is a true definition of a basic figure. There's just not a whole lot going on. And the crazy thing is, this is arguably better than the Elite version of this attire that we get in Elite Series 88 that we will cover later in this video. Now, the main reason is this face scan is pretty darn good. The hair sculpt's awesome. And what's really cool about this figure is the paint application with the hair color. It's applied in a very unique manner to make it look a little bit more realistic. And I say that because that's one of my biggest complaints with the women's wrestling figures is the hair is usually just one solid blonde or one solid color. And it really doesn't look accurate. But here it's like they put a little attention to detail in the hair color. And we'll see that in a couple of her figures coming up here. But yeah, I really like that they did add a little attention to detail with that hair color. It makes a difference here. Now, what I don't like about this figure is this top is just completely painted on a generic mold. So we see that generic bra mold with that red painted on top, which is extremely noticeable. Unlike that previous Elite we just looked at, this is real noticeable, y'all. Even from a distance, it looks ridiculous. And we have that dimpled belly button that's painted over. It should be a smoothed over one to simulate fabric or clothing on top of it, but we just got that body paint going on, and that looks bad. So moving on down, we do get that maple leaf on her behind there. And the depiction of the attire itself is pretty accurate, even though it looks kind of hideous with that generic mold in the upper body there. But like I said, it's arguably better than the Elite that we will get to later. WWE Battle Pack Series 24 with Lita released in 2020. This attire is from the historic all-women's pay-per-view Evolution, which took place on October 28th, 2018 in Uniondale, New York. On this night, the legendary team of Trish Stratus and Lita would defeat the team of Mickie James and Alicia Fox. Alright, so in my opinion, this is one of the best basic style figures ever produced by Mattel. This is a stunning figure, an excellent one, and it really did fly under the radar. I don't really know why. I don't know if it was because it was released in a late wave of battle packs right before they kind of died and transferred to the Showdown 2 packs, or if there was a high production amount of the Trish and Lita 2 packs, but either way, this is a figure that no one needs to sleep on because it's excellent, it's amazing, I love it. And what's really cool, besides that really cool Lita that it comes with, is this figure came packaged with an Evolution pay-per-view chair. I mean, that's such a great accessory to have in your collection that makes the battle pack worth buying alone, but the fact that we also get this excellent Trish is awesome. Now, taking a closer look, this is a True FX face scan technology Trish, and wow, this is insane how much it looks like her. It's her best scan to date, in my opinion. It's stunning. It's amazing. I mean, it's uncanny how much it looks like her. It looks great. Beautiful smile. And this hair sculpt and hair coloration, I love. And like I mentioned in that last figure, they put some effort and detail into the hair coloration. And I love that because we really don't get that in the women's wrestling figures. So the fact they did it for this Trish is just awesome. Now, there isn't a whole lot of sculpting going on with this attire, but where it makes up for it is definitely the detail and the paint application. Now, obviously, the black and gold is painted on very cleanly. We have that really cool Trish logo on the back. But this tiny little mesh pattern that's painted on is so intricate, small, and looks so accurate. It's amazing. She also has a smooth over belly button to simulate fabric. And even in her arm, if you look at it, what's really cool about it, I don't know if this is meant to be this way, but it looks like there's little tears in that mesh throughout, which makes it look really accurate and lifelike. So yeah, this is an amazing Trish Stratus figure. Definitely flew under the radar, but if I were you, I would not sleep on this thing because this is truly stunning and amazing and really does represent a pretty modern day looking Trish. WWE Championship Showdown Series 5 with Chyna, released in 2021. This attire is based on SummerSlam 2000 on August 27th in Raleigh, North Carolina, where Chyna and Eddie Guerrero took on Trish and Val Venis in a mixed IC title match. The stipulation was whoever scored the pinfall would be awarded the Intercontinental title. On this historic night, Chyna pinned Trish to become the new IC champion. Alright, so this figure, a lot like that WrestleMania basic in the red and white I covered earlier, is basically the definition of a basic figure. There's not a whole lot going on here. It's a pretty boring figure, to be honest with you, but they did correct their mistakes with that WrestleMania basic with this Trish. So instead of that generic sports bra top mold with a dimpled belly button, we have molding that's only between the chest, and the belly button is smoothed over so it does appear like she's wearing a top even if it's just painted on. So that is an improvement from that WrestleMania basic. But other than that, as far as the attire goes, boy, they couldn't have chosen a more boring attire to go with. And I know it's accurate to that night, but there's a million other matches they could have chosen of Trish, in my opinion. Now we do have that face scan with a really clean True FX face scan printed on. It looks really good, and that hair sculpt's cool. The coloration's good, so yeah, I mean, this is just an average, basic Trish, but it definitely gets the job done, and I think it's fine. WWE Elite Series 88 regular version, released in 2021. This attire is from Survivor Series 2001, which took place on November 18th in Greensboro, North Carolina. On this night, Trish Stratus was victorious in a six-pack challenge for the vacant WWF Women's Championship against Ivory, Lita, Jacqueline, Jazz, and Mighty Molly. This would be Trish's very first women's championship. Oh, it's time to rock and roll, everybody. I'm excited to open up this Trish because the face scan appears to be printed on perfectly. So we'll get a closer look and see if it makes it any better because, truth being told, the regular and chase version of Elite 88 Trish that I had, the face scan was printed wrong on both of them, and boy, those are the worst figures in my collection by far. So let's open this thing up and see if there's an improvement when that scan is applied how it should be. Okay? Let's throw that out of the way. Let's hope she's not... Oh yeah, just crashing out. Okay. So she does come with a pair of semi-open hands, but let's get that out of here. Alright, so let's take a look at the face right off the bat. Alright, so... It's not good. I mean, I'm going to be honest. Like, it's definitely printed on better than the ones that I had, but taking a closer look here, it still looks weird. It looks kind of alien-like. I think the face sculpt proportions are off. And I think the eyes are really large. And yeah, it's just a generic face here. And it's not good, even when it's printed on how it should be. In my opinion, it looks goofy. And if you think it looks okay, all you have to do is take a side look at this figure and look how goofy that looks. I mean, that looks nothing like her. It's bizarre. Super bizarre. And also what I didn't like about this figure, I've gone on record to say, is it's like they tried to put some detail in the hair coloration, but it looks horrible. It looks like someone that just ate a bag of Cheetos was like handling this figure, and it looks like Cheeto dust on the hair. So yeah, I'm sad to say that even with the face scan printed on exactly how it's supposed to, this figure still isn't good in my opinion. Now the soft goods trench coat, I guess you'd call it, is okay. I mean, it looks more like lingerie because it's so thin. But yeah, that's kind of where the coolness ends with this figure. We get this oversized cowboy hat that looks really bizarre, and the attire and the upper body is just painted on. We get that dimpled Victoria's Secret body paint belly button, so bleh. So yeah, I mean, I did a full-length review of these figures, and I've gone on record to say that these are probably the least favorite figures of mine in my collection, and I stand by that. This figure is not good in my opinion, not worth the money to buy. So the only thing I like about this figure is the pink and black color scheme, to be honest with you. So yeah, let's move on to that chase. Ooh. WWE Elite Series 88 Chase version, released in 2021. Now this attire is the exact same as that basic from earlier in the red and white, which is from WrestleMania 18, where Jazz defeated Trish and Lita to retain the WWF Women's Championship. So here it is, folks. In my opinion, the most disappointing figure in my collection and my least favorite by far. Yeah, such a letdown. I mean, beyond that face and hair debacle that's horrible about this Elite 88, the fact that we got her in this attire that's the exact same as that basic that we got earlier in Mattel's production, I mean, that's crazy to me. Like, why would they redo the same thing? And on top of that, the cowboy hat and the robe aren't even accurate to what she wore that night. So, I do have the robe still, but the white cowboy hat it comes with, I don't know where it is. I misplaced it, but I really don't want to spend the money and get another chase. Because odds are the scan's going to be printed on even wonkier than that one. And yeah, that's a letdown. And taking a closer look here, yeah, this is a little better than the one real wonky scan that I have. But it looks like she has a mustache. I mean, look at that. Looks like she's got a mustache. Definitely not printed on good. Looks like a Martian with a mustache. Cheeto hair, and the attire is boring. So this is definitely the most underwhelming chase in the history of Mattel. And yeah, I don't like it. I mean, I hate to really poop on the figure, but here's the thing. Trish Stratus deserves so much better. And when this Elite was announced, you know, over a year ago, I was really excited because, like I said, Trish has done so much for women in wrestling. And this is the end product, which is sad. They really put minimal effort into this figure. And boy, what a letdown. Alright, now it's time for me to rank them as to the worst to the best Trish Stratus figures released by Mattel at the time of this video. Now this is just my opinion, keep that in mind. At number 7, it was an easy choice for me. We have that Elite Series 88 Chase version, just an overall disappointing figure and really a letdown. At number 6, we have Elite Series 88 Trish, regular version, just not a whole lot of substance here for an Elite figure. At number 5, we have the WrestleMania 35 Basic. This is just such a boring figure, and it really bothers me with that painted over top that just looks hideous. At number 4, we have the Championship Showdown Series 5 Trish, which is a slight improvement over that WrestleMania Basic I just talked about, but this is a very boring figure, not a whole lot going on there. Now we get into the good Trish figures, in my opinion. At number 3, we have that Hall of Fame Elite. Like I said, this is probably my personal favorite, but I don't think it depicts the most iconic look of Trish, and that's why it's number 3, but I love this figure. It's really cool. Let's see if we can get it to stand. Oh boy, there we go. At number 2, we have Battle Pack Series 24. Now, this is the most modern looking Trish that we have gotten, and this Trish is freaking awesome. It's truly underrated, overlooked all the time, and that's why it's so high up on my countdown. And at number 1, I think the best Trish Stratus figure that we have by Mattel at the time of this video is Elite Series 24. I think everything about this figure is just awesome. It simulates such an iconic look, iconic time for Trish, and the inclusion of that Women's Championship belt with the high quality it's produced with makes this number 1. I hope y'all enjoyed today's LumberJillville Women's History Month special covering the figure evolution of Trish Stratus' Mattel figure releases. Now, truth being told, I hope we get a lot more Trish figures in the future, including an Ultimate Edition, because that is well deserved. And I hope y'all also learned something new that you didn't know before about Trish, because I had a good time researching her career, not only in the ring, but outside the ring. She's a truly groundbreaking woman and really did a lot to show that women could do more than just accompany the men to the ring. So that being said, thanks for stopping by LumberJillville. Women's wrestling lives here. For a first look at all future women's wrestling figure reviews and additional videos like this, make sure to hit subscribe, become an official resident today, and hit that bell for notifications so you know when I post my next video. Have a great night, y'all.